The heat relaxes those muscles that tend to cramp whenever there's pain. Now, when someone's got an inflamed back, they usually put a hot water bottle on it, is that right? You know, the reason why the hot water bottle relaxes is because when we're in pain, the muscles around that area tighten and cramp. Basically, they go out in sympathy with the pain, and you put a hot water bottle on that and it relaxes those cramping muscles, so you do get some relief, but it does not help the inflammation. It can even make it worse. If you apply a ginger poultice anywhere where there's inflammation, the ginger pulls the inflammation out of the joint to the skin, and the skin gets really hot. So if you apply this to the lower back, the heat relaxes the muscles, and yet the ginger is reducing the inflammation. Look, let's be honest with each other for a minute. We've all reached a certain age where we hear a little click in the knee getting out of a chair, or feel a bit unsteady on an uneven sidewalk. We shrug it off. It's just part of getting older, right? But what if that slight loss of balance led to a fall? And what if that fall broke a hip? Here's a truth we need to talk about, one that isn't discussed enough. For us, for seniors, a broken hip is far more than a broken bone. The medical reality is stark. It becomes a life-altering crisis. In fact, statistics show 1 in 4 of us will not survive the year following a hip fracture. 1 in 4. That's not a statistic, that's our neighbours, our friends. It could be any one of us. But it doesn't have to be this way. That number doesn't have to be our fate. This conversation today is about the silent condition behind these tragedies, osteoporosis. This isn't meant to frighten you, it's meant to arm you. Because knowledge is the first and most powerful step toward prevention. Stick with me. We're going to break down exactly what's happening inside our bodies, and we're going to build a real actionable plan to fortify ourselves, to protect our strength and our independence for all the years to come. Before we start, drop in the comments from where you are watching this video and what health topic you'd like to see in the next video. As a special thank you for joining us today, we're giving away 100 free copies of my best-selling book to subscribers. So, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment about why you want to win my best-selling book. What exactly is osteoporosis? So, let's get down to basics. So our skin needs to get the sun for our bones, because our bones need this vitamin D to be able to access particularly calcium, and when calcium gets in, all the other minerals are coming in as well. What is this osteoporosis we're talking about? The name itself tells the story. It comes from the Latin. Osteo means bone and porosis means porous. So literally it's porous bone. Now I want you to picture a piece of your favourite hearty bread, like a nice sourdough, versus a piece of sponge cake. That good crusty bread is dense and strong on the inside. You can feel its substance. But sponge cake, it's full of tiny holes and air pockets. It's soft and crumbles easily under a little pressure. That's the simplest way to understand what's happening inside someone with osteoporosis. Their bones, which should be as strong as that good bread, have slowly become more like that sponge cake. They lose their density, becoming fragile and brittle. This isn't about a bone feeling old. It's about a real physical change in its structure. We often call it a silent thief for a reason. It steals your bone strength year by year without a single symptom. You can't feel it happening. There's no ache or pain to warn you. Most people don't know anything is wrong until a bone breaks from a minor incident, a small fall, a sudden twist, or even just a hard cough. A fracture is very often the very first sign. This might sound scary, but please don't be discouraged. Understanding this is your first line of defense. You see, our bones aren't static. They're living, active tissue that's constantly remodeling itself. Think of it like a bank account. For most of our lives, until about age 30, we're making more deposits of new bone than we are making withdrawals of old bone. Our bone density account is growing. This amazing process is handled by crews of tiny cells working inside you. You have cells called osteoclasts, whose job is to break down old bone, that's the withdrawal. Right behind them come cells called osteoblasts that deposit fresh new bone. That's your deposit. It's a beautiful, balanced system when it's working properly. But as we get older, that balance slowly shifts. The demolition crew starts working a little too hard, and the construction crew can't quite keep up. Withdrawals start to outpace deposits. For women, this accelerates dramatically after menopause due to the drop in estrogen, a key hormone that tells the construction crew to get to work. For men, a gradual decline in testosterone later in life leads to a slower but still significant loss. So osteoporosis isn't just thin bones, it's a disease where the very architecture of your bone has weakened, making a fracture far more likely. The good news? This isn't a one-way street. We can influence this process. We can work on making new deposits, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Why seniors are vulnerable. Now you might be thinking, why is this something we have to worry about now? Why are we so vulnerable? It's a great question, and the answer isn't just about one thing. It's a perfect storm of natural changes and lifestyle factors that come together as we age. First and foremost, it's biology. Remember that bone bank account we talked about? After we hit our peak bone mass around age 30, the balance slowly starts to tip. For decades, the process is so gradual we don't notice. But by the time we reach our 60s and 70s, we're simply making withdrawals much faster than we can make deposits. Our bodies just aren't as efficient at building new bone. For women, this process gets a powerful and unwelcome accelerator, menopause. The sharp drop in estrogen during this time is a huge deal for bone health. Estrogen is a key protector of bones. It's like a foreman that tells the bone-building crews to keep working. When that foreman leaves the job site, bone loss can speed up dramatically, sometimes for several years straight. Men aren't off the hook though. They experience bone loss too, but it's usually more gradual. It's often linked to a steady decline in testosterone later in life, which also plays a crucial role in bone building. But it's not just hormones. Many of us become less active as we get older, sometimes due to arthritis or other aches and pains. But our bones are lazy. They only stay strong if we give them a reason to be. Less weight-bearing activity means your body gets the signal that it doesn't need to maintain strong bones. Our nutrition often changes too. Maybe we don't eat as much, or we lose our appetite for certain foods. We might not get enough calcium and vitamin D, the absolute building blocks of bone, which are harder for our bodies to absorb as we age. Finally, other health issues and medications can play a role. Conditions like an overactive thyroid or using certain medications like long-term steroids for asthma or arthritis can quietly weaken bones over time. So you see, it's rarely just one cause. It's the natural aging process combined with hormonal shifts and often lifestyle changes that stack the deck against our skeletons. But knowing what stacks that deck is the very first step to stacking it back in your favour. The hip fracture crisis. So there is no need to have the hip replacements. Now if someone comes to me and says, I'm about to have a hip replacement, what can I do? You know what I say to them? Have the hip replacement. But if you'd learnt all this 10 years before, you could probably have prevented the hip replacement. And that's why the trampoline or the rebounder is so good. There is no jarring on the joints. Because Albert Carter, he talks about some of his friends who were runners, and by the time they were 45, 50, they got major joint problems. So we understand the disease making bones fragile. Now we have to talk about the event that turns that fragility into a crisis, the hip fracture. This is the moment everything changes, and it's critical we understand why it's so much more than a simple broken bone. First, why the hip? It's the pillar of our independence. The hip joint is a marvel, a ball and socket that bears the full weight of our body with every single step. It's what allows us to walk, to rise from a chair, to get in and out of the bath. But when osteoporosis weakens the bone, particularly the top of the femur, the ball part of that joint, it becomes the weakest link. It doesn't take a major car crash. For many, it's a fall from standing height. A slip on a rug, a misstep on the stairs, or even just twisting wrong while standing up can be enough. The break itself is a severe injury, but the true crisis begins in the aftermath. The treatment is almost always major surgery, pins, plates, or a full hip replacement. This means anesthesia, which is riskier for us as we age. It means days or weeks in the hospital, a period of forced immobility that is devastatingly dangerous. This is where the statistics become heartbreakingly real. That forced bed rest opens the door for a cascade of complications our bodies struggle to fight off. Pneumonia, blood clots, severe infections. Our systems are more vulnerable, and a traumatic event like this pushes them to the brink. This is the primary reason behind the staggering statistic. 1 in 4 seniors die within 1 year of breaking their hip. But the crisis isn't just about mortality. It's a profound theft of independence. For those who survive, the road back is incredibly difficult. The pain and muscle weakness from the injury and surgery are immense. Over half of all patients never regain their previous level of mobility. They can't walk without a walker or a cane. They struggle with daily tasks, dressing, cooking, bathing. This loss of function is why 1 in 4 survivors find themselves needing long-term care in a nursing facility. It's not always because they want to, it's because they simply cannot manage on their own anymore. The financial burden is crushing, often running into tens of thousands of dollars. And we must not overlook the deep psychological toll. The fear of falling again becomes paralyzing. People lose confidence. They stop going out. They become isolated, withdrawing from social activities and family gatherings. This loneliness and depression can be just as damaging as the physical injury, creating a vicious cycle that further deteriorates health. This is the hip fracture crisis. It's a single event that can trigger a downward spiral, impacting not just physical health, but financial security, independence, and mental well-being. It's a life-altering earthquake. And this is the most important thing I will say today, it is not a guaranteed fate. Understanding this crisis is the fuel we need to commit to prevention. Because what comes next is your blueprint for building a defense. How to prevent osteoporosis. So, how do we fight back? Prevention is our strongest weapon, and it's built on 3 simple pillars: movement, nourishment, and smart habits. Exercise prescription. All right, let's talk about your first and most powerful medicine, movement. The best time to build bone was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Your bones are lazy geniuses. They only get stronger when you challenge them. Your prescription has 3 parts. First, weight-bearing exercise. This is anything where you're on your feet working against gravity. This is non-negotiable. Your goal is 30 minutes most days. This isn't about running a marathon. A brisk daily walk is perfect. Put on some music and dance while you vacuum. If you're able, try tennis or stair climbing. Consistency is your goal, not intensity. Second, strength training. This is critical. You need to directly stress the muscles and bones. Aim for at least 2 days a week. You don't need a gym membership. Use light dumbbells, resistance bands, or even your own body weight with exercises like sit-to-stands from a chair or calf raises. Finally, balance exercises. Strong bones won't help if you fall. This is your best defense. The gold standard is Tai Chi. Its slow, deliberate movements have been proven to slash fall risk by nearly half. Simply practicing standing on 1 foot while holding onto a counter works too. This trio is your foundation. It builds bone, strengthens the muscles that protect them, and teaches your body to stay upright. Nutritional foundation. Where else do we find these minerals? We find these minerals in dark green leafy vegetables. I think we've talked about these a few times, is that right? Dark green leafy vegetables. Dark green leafy vegetables are very high in minerals. So we should be having dark green leafy vegetables every day, and if we don't, we should have a dose of green barley.
A dose of what?
Green barley, or barley green, or super green, for the minerals. Think of your bones like a house under constant renovation. You need the right raw materials for the construction crew to do their job. That's where your diet comes in. You are the general contractor supplying the site. The most critical building block is calcium. Aim for 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams daily. Get it from dairy like milk or yogurt, fortified plant milks, leafy greens like kale or tofu. If you can't get enough from food, a supplement is a smart backup. But calcium can't do its job alone. It needs its foreman. Vitamin D. Without it, your body can't absorb the calcium you eat. We need 600 to 800 IU daily. Our skin makes it from sunlight, but that becomes less efficient with age. Include fatty fish like salmon, fortified foods, or a supplement, especially in winter. Finally, don't overlook protein. It's the framework that gives bone its flexibility and strength. A good goal is to aim for about 0.4 grams per pound of your body weight. That means if you weigh 150 pounds, target 60 grams daily, find it in Greek yogurt, eggs, beans, chicken and fish. Feed your bones what they crave and they'll support you for years to come. Now you can see by what I've shown you today why people's bones are deteriorating. So many Americans have refined sugar, caffeine, alcohol. See, they're constantly leaching the minerals out, leaching the bones, and so many have hormonal imbalances. So many are mineral deficient, eating foods that don't have the minerals, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's weeks, months, years of this lifestyle is deteriorating the bones. Lifestyle modifications. Now, let's talk about two of the most impactful choices we can make for our bones, and they don't require any special equipment, just a bit of willpower. These are the game changers. First, if you smoke, please make a plan to quit. This isn't just about your lungs anymore. Tobacco is a bone toxin. The chemicals in cigarettes directly poison the bone-building cells, the osteoblasts. They can't do their job. Smoking also reduces blood flow to your bones and makes it harder for your body to absorb calcium. Every cigarette is actively stealing bone density from your skeleton. It's never too late to quit. Talk to your doctor about resources. You don't have to do it alone. Second, let's be mindful of alcohol. An occasional drink is one thing, but consistent, heavy drinking is a major problem for bone health. It interferes with the bone remodeling process and increases your risk of falling. A good rule of thumb is to stick to no more than one standard drink per day for women and 2 for men. Making these changes can feel daunting, but the payoff is enormous. You're not just protecting your bones, you're investing in your overall strength and independence, ensuring you can stay active and enjoy life on your own terms. Fall prevention, the final crucial piece of the puzzle is making your world safer. We can build strong bones, but the best outcome is avoiding a fall altogether. Think of this as being the boss of your own environment. Start with a safety audit of your home. This is simple but powerful. Get rid of tripping hazards like loose rugs, electrical cords and clutter on the floor. Improve lighting everywhere, especially in hallways and on staircases. Add night lights for those middle of the night trips to the bathroom. Install grab bars in the shower and by the toilet. They are a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Next, don't underestimate your senses. Get your vision and hearing checked annually. Seeing a step clearly or hearing a warning shout can be the difference between catching yourself and a fall. For those at highest risk, like if you've already had a fall or have very low bone density, consider hip protectors. These are special garments with padded inserts that can help absorb the impact of a fall and could prevent a fracture. Talk to your doctor to see if they're right for you. A little prevention creates a world of confidence. How to combat existing osteoporosis. If you've already been diagnosed with osteoporosis or have even suffered a fracture, please know this, it is not too late. The game is not over, the strategy just changes. This is about aggressive defense and smart rebuilding. The first and most critical step is getting a proper diagnosis. This isn't guesswork. It requires a painless test called a DEXA scan, which measures your bone density. Your result comes as a T-score. If it's between 1 and 2.5, you have osteopenia, meaning low bone mass. A score of 2.5 or lower means osteoporosis. This number is your baseline, your starting point for a targeted fight. This is where medications become a powerful tool. Your doctor will likely discuss a few types. The most common are bisphosphonates like Fosamax or Reclast. Think of these as slowdown agents. They put the brakes on the cells that break down bone. For more advanced cases, there are anabolic agents like Forteo or Evenity. These are the builders. They actually stimulate new bone formation, which is a true game changer. Other options like denosumab, an injection, hormone therapy, or SERMs might be recommended based on your specific health profile. This is a conversation for you and your doctor to have, weighing the benefits and any potential side effects. If a fracture has already occurred, rehabilitation is your path back. Physical therapy is non-negotiable. A therapist will design a safe program to help you regain strength, mobility, and most importantly, confidence. Pain management through medication or simple heat-cold therapy is crucial for staying active. And remember, surgical techniques have advanced dramatically. Minimally invasive hip repairs mean smaller incisions, less pain, and significantly faster recovery times, getting you back on your feet sooner. A diagnosis can feel frightening, but it is in fact a gift of knowledge. It arms you and your doctor with the information needed to fight back effectively and protect the future you. So, where does this leave us? Osteoporosis may be a silent thief, but it's not an undefeatable one. You are not powerless. The power lies in action, movement, nourishment, and smart choices. Your independence is worth fighting for. Start today. Please take that first step. Book an appointment to ask your doctor about a bone density scan. That one conversation can change your path. Then, take that first walk around the block. Add an extra serving of yogurt or leafy greens to your next meal. Your future self will thank you for every single step you take right now. This isn't about avoiding a fall, it's about embracing a stronger, more vibrant life. If this information felt valuable, drop a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, share this video with one friend or family member. You might just give them the knowledge to protect their independence too. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay informed, stay healthy.